Devin Haney. Quote, "It's funny how tables turn. Now I'm the undisputed champ."
I mean, it just jab at the champ. He know who the real champ is. That's why he's, you know what I mean?
Do you think a Tank Davis-Devin Haney fight will happen?
If it get down to it, I'm definitely winning the fight. I'm winning the fight for sure.
The rivalry just reached a whole new level. Gervonta Tank Davis has finally responded to Devin Haney in a live interview, delivering a direct message. That has boxing fans buzzing. Let's make the fight happen. Is the long-awaited super fight finally on the horizon? Gervonta Tank Davis made it clear that he's looking to finalize his next fight as soon as possible. He added that he's ready to see what's really good, signaling that he'd rather settle the rivalry inside the ring than keep exchanging words. Tank Davis added, "I'm trying to see what's really good." Devin Haney wasted little time responding. He immediately welcomed the challenge, making it clear that he's ready to face Gervonta Tank Davis and move the long-discussed showdown one step closer to becoming reality. Devin Haney replied, "Drop, let's go." Adding even more fuel to the fire, Devin Haney claimed that Gervonta Tank Davis and his team had finally reached out to begin discussions, suggesting the long-awaited matchup could now be closer than ever. Devin Haney added, "I think Gervonta grew some balls. His team reached out. We might just end up fighting." The excitement didn't last long before another disagreement surfaced. Gervonta Tank Davis fired back at Devin Haney, rejecting the proposed weight and insisting Haney wasn't in a position to dictate the terms. Tank also took aim at Haney and his father, claiming that if Haney wanted the biggest payday of his career, he would have to accept Tank's conditions. Tank Davis responded, "Want to come in 165? You not in the driver's seat. It's your dad you talking about. If you want to get the biggest purse of your career, you do as I say, bitch." Those comments quickly drew a response from the Haney camp. Bill Haney pushed back against the claims, insisting that no one has ever attempted to negotiate a rehydration clause with him and maintaining that such a demand has never been part of their discussions. Bill Haney added, "Nobody has ever attempted to negotiate a rehydration clause with me. Not now, not ever." Expanding on that, Bill Haney revealed that discussions about a potential fight with Gervonta Tank Davis have been genuine, saying his conversations with Al Heyman have made the matchup feel increasingly realistic. He also dismissed talk of dehydration or rehydration clauses, insisting the fight should take place under fair terms while indicating that the agreed weight would be no lower than 144 pounds.
This as real. Me and Al have had discussions. That's made it even more real. Never has anyone said anything about any dehydration, rehydration, or anything for that matter. So I think that it should be, and what it should be, is a fair fight. And that weight is to be determined. But it won't be anything under 144 pounds. But no.
Despite the growing optimism, Bill Haney acknowledged that there is still one major hurdle. He suggested that the biggest challenge may be convincing Gervonta Tank Davis to officially step into the ring rather than actually facing him once the fight is signed. At the same time, he emphasized that he still has plenty of respect for Tank and his team.
It's going to be the hardest part for Debo to get him in the ring than to actually be in the ring. And I think more people are starting to understand that maybe Bill Haney might have a little bit of truth to it by the confidence that we've shown about it. But ultimately, I have a lot of respect for him.
Not everyone, however, is convinced the fight is actually close. Tim Bradley remains skeptical about the recent wave of speculation surrounding a Devin.
Hearing the talk. Stop the cap. Come on now. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, man. Another distraction. That's all it is. What weight they gonna fight at? Thought Tank was small. What weight? 140? Not gonna happen. Tank gonna go to 47? What weight? Like, this don't even make any sense. Tank been out of the ring, how long? Almost a year and a half? Come on, and he gonna come back and face Haney? Stop.
Offering another viewpoint, YouTuber Shob is the adult argued that negotiations should begin with a 50-50 split before any adjustments are made. While acknowledging that Tank has traditionally been the bigger commercial attraction, he believes both fighters have now built resumes that justify equal footing from a competitive standpoint. He He pointed to Haney's continued activity and success, while noting that Tank is coming off a draw with Lamont Roach.
The Haneys start with 50-50. And then we can work from you standing strong down. That's how all negotiations happen. Now, do I think it's a 50-50 fight? Yes and no. Financially, obviously not. I would never see Tank Davis as an undercard. Never. But merit-wise, it's 50-50. Because Tank, where you been? Your last fight was a draw against Lamont Roach coming up. Debo became another division champion and been fighting and putting in work. Times Square cards and big time right? So merit-wise...
Looking at the matchup itself, Eddie Hearn described Devin Haney as one of boxing's most disciplined professionals, while calling Gervonta Tank Davis a rare generational talent. According to Hearn, the biggest unknown is which version of Tank ultimately shows up, because a fully focused Davis is capable of beating anyone. He added that the winner would take a major step toward becoming one of boxing's biggest stars.
Look, you just don't know how Tank's going to come back. When did he last fight?
March against March.
So a year and a half? I mean, longer time he gets, the fight happened in November, December, like a year and a half. And he's been through a lot. But Tank is an unbelievable...
Tim Bradley urged both sides to stop talking and simply make the fight happen. When asked for his prediction, Bradley sided with Devin Haney, explaining that he favors the more active fighter. He pointed to Haney's size, boxing ability, and recent activity as the factors that give him the edge over Tank.
Make the damn fights. That's it. Make the fights. Surprise us sometime. Please surprise us. Dang it. Less talking, more action. But that's my take on that fight. You want to know who I think would win if they were to fight? Devin Haney. Ooh, Tim, you crazy. Tim, you crazy. Ain't no way he gonna beat Tank Davis. Ain't no way. Tank got too much power for him. Tank this, Tank that. What about Dev? Dev been active. Dev been busy. I'm going with the more active fighter. The one that's been busy. That's who I'm going with. The bigger fighter. The guy that can box. That's who I'm going with.
Bigger fighter. The guy that can box. That's who I'm going with. Colonel Moton offered a slightly different perspective, believing the outcome depends heavily on the agreed weight. He feels Tank would hold the advantage at 135 because of his physical strength and punching power, but views the fight as much closer at 144. Moton also noted that if Tank doesn't land his trademark power shots, Haney has the skills to build an early lead and protect it over the championship rounds.
It depends on what weight. Like if it's at 35, then Devin, he's not gonna be able to mess with Tank at all. I just feel like Tank too strong at 35, Devin just too weak at 35.
What if it's at 40? What if it's at 40?
Either fighter could win that fight. Tank, he got the power, and he got the equalizers. Anything can happen with Tank. But Tank give away a lot of rounds. So maybe if he's not able to land that punch and Devin just keep winning rounds, stacking rounds, and then maybe the last, 5 rounds, Devin just move around, play it safe.
Right.
That's Devin's decision, so either fighter.
While negotiations with Tank continue, Devin Haney has also made it clear that another blockbuster fight remains high on his list. Haney insists he's willing to face Shakur Stevenson at any weight if it means finally making that matchup happen. Whenever you decide to come to my weight class, let's do it. I'll fight your brother Keshin for now. Shakur Stevenson wasn't impressed by Haney's public challenge. He argued that real negotiations take place behind closed doors rather than on social media, and suggested the online exchanges were simply another attempt to create headlines. Stevenson remained confident that if they eventually meet in the ring, he'll prove exactly who the better fighter is. Shakur Stevenson responded, "This the same thing y'all pulled with Raleigh. All these fake public negotiations, real negotiations happen offline. I'm the truth you will see when you get in front of me." Haney refused to let that slide, accusing Stevenson of avoiding the fight altogether. Devin Haney replied, "You are scared to death." Stevenson answered right back by questioning whether Haney had ever actually signed a contract with his name on it, implying that the public comments don't reflect what's happening behind the scenes. Shakur added, "You signed a contract with my name on it." The ongoing exchange also sparked plenty of debate among boxing personalities. Showbiz the Adult argued that Haney's team is actively pursuing the Stevenson fight because it represents a major financial opportunity. Referring to reports associated with the ring, he claimed Haney was willing to meet Stevenson at a 144-pound catchweight, but alleged the offer wasn't accepted, portraying Haney as the side trying to move negotiations forward.
Assuming it was His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh who wanted that fight. But this article was released by Ring, who is owned by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. So I'm not going to assume who was putting up the bag for Debo versus Shakur. But that's not important. Debo wanted Shakur, and Shakur was standing on business for his play brother Keyshawn, saying, listen, we can do it at 144. Debo said, okay, let's do it at 144. Shakur is like, nah, because really, Shakur is going to stand on business and Debo. So his play brother Keyshawn can get the organic right to fight.
Building on that discussion, the analyst argued that Devin Haney is at his best fighting at 147 pounds, where his added size, strength, and athleticism become much more effective. While acknowledging that Shakur Stevenson may be the more polished technician, he believes Haney's natural physical advantages at welterweight could ultimately play a decisive role in determining how the fight unfolds.
Devin Haney's physicality is best at 147. I think he has a newfound level of power as well. And I do think that would play a factor in that fight. I think Shakur is the more skilled, but Devin is the more athletically inclined fighter.
Mike Coppinger doesn't see a significant gap between Haney and Stevenson in terms of their standing in the sport. He believes both have built enough credibility that neither should be viewed as clearly above the other in negotiations. Coppinger also suggests that if Stevenson wants to cement his place among boxing's elite,
I think they're both the ace. I don't think there's any clear guy that's above one or the other in terms of business. I really don't.
I think Shakur.
I think they both. I think they're both.
I think it's close to even. If someone asked me who do I think commands a little more, I think Shakur maybe slightly.
That's fine, but it's close. I think I put it on the.
It's not a clear answer.
It's the kind of thing where you say if they're arguing over who's the A side, you have to flip a coin to who walks out last.
Right.
So that's one. Two is, all right, if Shakur wants to say, hey, I'm not ready yet, I just fought a 140, that's fine too. But also, if you want to keep talking about you're the great.
Becomes an important step. Jojo Diaz suggests a fight between Haney and Stevenson would be extremely difficult to predict because of how evenly matched they are. He feels Haney could create more problems by taking the initiative, instead of spending too much time moving backward. Diaz also expects both fighters to make smart adjustments throughout the contest, making strategy a major factor. In his view, it is such a closely contested matchup that he cannot confidently choose a winner.
What are your thoughts on Shakur and Devin at 144?
That's like I said, man, that's a very, very tough fight. I think if Devin Haney applies more pressure instead of fighting on his back foot, I think he could give Shakur Stevenson some trouble. It just all depends on how they react. You know what I mean? How the game plan and the strategy is coming in on the fight night. They're both, high skilled level fighters that are, very defensive and know how to react and know how to adjust. So I think it'll be a really good fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight, man. I have respect for both fighters, man. So.
On the other hand, Regis Prograis doubts Haney and Stevenson will ever meet because he believes the size difference is significant. Even so, he sees Stevenson as the slightly more polished boxer and gives him a narrow edge if the fight does happen. Prograis expects a closely contested technical battle, rather than a fight decided by power, with the result likely coming down to skill and execution.
I don't think they'll fight because Haney too big. Devin too big for Shakur. Shakur, I'm not saying little guy, but Shakur is small compared to Devin. Devin too big. I think that they really damn near have similar styles. Devin just a bigger version. Shakur left-handed. I think that Shakur's a little more skilled. I would say Shakur's a little more skilled than Devin. But if they fought, really, I would still say Shakur. Right now, I would still say Shakur, because of the left-handed style. But it's gonna be, I think it'll be a close fight. It'll be close. Nobody gonna knock nobody out.